Okay, so let's before we get working, let's just do a recap of where we are. So this is the final week of LAPAC season. What I've been thinking of the LAPAC season in my head, and so there's just a ton of meetings to just sort of finish it out with all the planning areas. And then next week, I am burrowing in my office and I'm going to start synthesizing the information so I can develop a list of the five recommendation group categories for each LAPAC to send to the core team, which we'll all then start using those to draft the actual updates to the local area plan elements and the general plan countywide elements. I thought it was going to come back to us in January, but no, I was told I'm nuts. It's not coming back in January. We may get like the internal administrative drafts, which will then get vetted internally, but we won't get public stuff until probably May. So May is when I'll corral all LAPACers back. And I think we'll also send it at that point to the municipal advisory councils so that we can gather as much input to see what we got right, what we missed, what we needed to tweak, things like that. So not till May. So you'll wonder who's that woman? Who's Mariah Turner when you see an email from me in May? But I'll remind you.
Okay.
Okay. So for today, let's see what we can get done on the active or current policies, objectives, and implementations. And I'll go ahead and share screen. Let me close my door. It is hot and heavy LAPAC season. I've got Lower Lake today, Lakeport, Rivieras, and then I end up with an in-person meeting tonight at Kelseyville.
Busy.
It's the end of LAPAC season. I'm cramming them in. We got a lot of public input to get. Okay, so where are we? Objective. It looks like we went through that one. Okay, we left at the objective to identify, protect, and preserve Lower Lake area's wealth of archaeological and historical and tribal cultural resources for long-term benefit of the area's residents, tourism, scientific research, and for future generations. I'll put a comma there.
What number is that one?
That is 3.9.
3.9. Okay.
So to support that, then we have policy 3.91. The Lower Lake area contains one of the highest densities of prehistoric archaeological sites in Northern California and the highest density of sites in Lake County. Archaeological surveys shall be required in accordance with state law whenever new development could potentially impact unique and significant cultural resources. Well, yeah, that's a good one. That's law, so we're not going to change that one. And Marty, you just froze. So, there you are. Okay. Next policy. And jump in if you think any of these need changing. But that one, that last one seems pretty straightforward.
Right.
And I did not know that Lower Lake had the highest density. That's very interesting.
Well, there's a lot of work being done in the Anderson Marsh area. That's probably part of it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
John Parker did a lot of work down there years and years and years ago.
We've been talking to Robert Geary about LM historical and Coy, I think, where they were down in the southern part of around the lake, and how they had those vertical land tracts. And each family had like a vertical land tract starting at the lake and going up into the hills, and they would trade between each other.
Oh,
totally cool. So, but one of the things I'd like to see added into 3.9 is reviewing and looking into establishing establishing regulations to preserve cultural sacred viewsheds.
Oh.
So we've been talking in the tribal consultations about how Pechanga tribe down in southern Riverside, I think, Southern Riverside County, they have a viewshed preservation such that development that is going to be along a ridgeline has to work so that it blends right into that ridgeline. It can't just be this big old building, with a solid roof line. It follows the natural ridgeline. So I'd like to see future integrations of things similar to that, all the way down to you can't put a neon pink house on the side of a hill. Right. That kind of, I'm being facetious, but that sort of design regulations to make sure that we're maintaining what is a sacred site.
Right. Yeah, that's the kind of regulations that homeowners associations already do. But you're now going to apply it to sacred sites, which is fine as long as the native tribe people can identify those areas.
Yes. And so far, that's part of our ongoing discussions, because so far those things are confidential. But I'm working with Robert Geary, who in turn is working with the tribes, because it's not like if you have a viewshed to preserve, it's not like you're saying, I've got, cultural resources right here, go dig them up. It's nobody's going to really, right. You can't wreck a viewshed, just one person. So I'm hoping that they're starting to come around, which I'm really encouraged to maybe consider allowing viewshed preservation to not be confidential. So that's where I want to go in the future, but we're not going to get there before May. So that's why I'd like it to go in as a policy and an implementation.
Do you want to add it in like 3.95?
Yep. If that's okay with you guys.
It's okay with me, but I noticed that underneath there's something called public safety that doesn't have a number.
That's a title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But let me just put this in a placeholder right now because I'm jumping ahead. So we didn't look at 3.92 yet. Efforts to identify and protect historical, hey Angela, historical buildings in Lower Lake area will be assisted by the following. A, designation of selected buildings in downtown Lower Lake as an historic preservation site. Let's do subject verb. B, work with economic development interests, citizen groups, archaeologists, and other researchers in preparing plans and grant applications for protection of historic buildings in the area. Also, one thing that this is related to is work that the newly revitalized Heritage Commission is doing right now, which is seeking to update the historic preservation zoning overlay. And so maybe we can, if you both think that this is an important one to maintain, let's also add an implementation. Oh, wait. I think we need to make that an implementation. Let's add an implementation that would support Heritage Commission's work on that, if you think that that's something to boost or come alongside with.
Yeah, because we lost so many of the historic buildings in downtown Lower Lake. My grandma Jean lived behind what used to be Magoon store, and the one on 2nd and Lake Street. We lost several in that area.
Yeah.
Behind the post office.
Right.
What would the policy be?
Work with the Historical or Heritage Commission. Yeah, there you go. Identify and preserve historic buildings. Yeah. Okay.
Historic structures. Isn't it more than that? I think it can be. There's other things. Let's say historic resources.
Right. That kind of covers everything.
Yeah. All right. Next, the development of historic museum in downtown Lower Lake should be encouraged and supported. Local interest groups should determine the feasibility of developing a local museum. We already have that.
Right. That's been done pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes, but can we change that to say developing additional local museums, because we had talked about, maybe Bud Boyce's could be turned into a stagecoach museum where, somebody like my mother who has 50 coaches and wagons.
Oh, wow.
You could
right.
have something to draw people in. I know that she's working with Eli Stage to have a museum for some of her wagons and stuff. But I would like to convince her if we could find something in, downtown Lower Lake to draw people to, if there was a location.
Okay.
Well, it's a big building. That's the good part. I can't think of any other place other than the old
place. You could set it up like it was a farrier and
Cool.
blacksmith.
Which is close to what it was.
Okay. Certified local government status shall be pursued through the State Office of Historic Preservation. I don't know what that means. For the purpose of identifying, preserving, and marking significant. So the Heritage Commission was talking about establishing a local, like a Lake County historic inventory, historic structure inventory. But I don't know about certified local government status, because we're already a local government. What do we have to certify?
Yeah, I don't understand what that means either. I've never really heard that term before.
I would change this to a local historic structure inventory. Though, notes to double check this is the right. Double check with.
Right. Good.
Heritage Commission to make sure this is the right nomenclature. Cannot spell. To make sure this is the right terminology. Actually, I'm going to check with the curator, museum curator, because she is a rock star in this area.
Oh, good.
She's amazing. Okay. Then this one is implementation. Actually, let's just go ahead and make it a policy, and we'll work on the implementation later. Policy 3.95.
Right, to identify. And these are sacred sites, or okay, that's better.
Good. How about that? The county should work collaboratively with tribes to identify and preserve tribal cultural assets, including viewsheds.
Cool.
This could include design guidelines. Just so people know, within identified viewsheds. Good?
Yes.
Just to give people a heads up.
Mm-hmm.
Public safety wildfire hazards. Identify, secure funding, and implement measures and programs that reduce the threat to lives and property from structural and wildland fires in the Lower Lake area. In outlying areas, residential development should be limited to rural densities. Yeah. Okay. Policy. Actually, in the outlying areas, limiting to rural densities is more of a policy, don't you think, than an objective? Because it's kind of saying what they should do.
Yes.
You're right.
Let's take that out. Oh, wait, sorry. Let's add a line. No, down here. Wait.
In 1/3 of a mile, enter the roundabout and take
Policy. We're gonna do numbering later anyway. 4.xxxx. And then put this here. Okay. Implementation of recommendations by CAL FIRE. Go away. Save. And CAL FIRE and either Lower Lake or South Lake County Fire Protection District shall be carefully considered when evaluating development proposals in the Lower Lake planning area. Okay.
So just so you know, we're now covered under Lake County Fire Protection District because Clear Lake and Lower Lake merged and became Lake County Fire Protection District.
Right.
I remember that.
The South Lake County Fire Protection District that covers like just
Middletown.
at Hoffacker South. So including Jerusalem.
Okay.
Right. Thank
So,
you, Marty. I
CAL
was going to say
FIRE-
that and you beat me to it.
And the Lake County Fire Protection District shall be carefully considered, right?
And the South Lake County Fire, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it is called South Lake County?
Yeah,
It is.
that's Middletown area, Hidden Valley and Middletown.
Okie dokie.
But they do cover south of Hoffacker and Jerusalem Grade.
Okay.
Right. Lake
Hey,
County
Vince.
Fire Protection is the merged Lower Lake plus
Right.
Lakeshore.
Okay. Excellent. Hey, Vince, just to bring you up to speed, we are going through the current objectives, policies, or objectives and policies in the Lower Lake area plan to see what we're keeping, throwing out, or changing. So feel free to jump in.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So policy 4.12, the most recent fire hazard criteria of CAL FIRE shall be considered for general plan and zoning purposes in the Lower Lake planning area. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what that means. Because it would be similar to evaluating development proposals, but
well, that must mean that CAL FIRE has some sort of criteria that they might change, and we just want to.
well, they're
Keep
just
going.
changing their maps. We're getting the new ones next month, I think, or January.
Okay.
So
Okay,
basically
well-
what this is saying is to take those warnings into consideration when expanding the Lower Lake planning area.
Yeah, actually, the city of Ukiah encountered a problem here when they were updating their general plan because they didn't get CAL FIRE on board until the very end, and they had to make significant changes.
Oh, wow.
So this one makes a lot of sense, but it's because of our lessons learned from that city that we got CAL FIRE in right away. And it really helps us that Paul Duncan's been attending like most of the LAPAC meetings virtually because his input is really helpful.
Good.
Yeah, we just want to avoid that shocking surprise when we get to the end. All right, so we'll keep that in there because it's really good. Rural residential development in high and extreme fire hazard areas. We're going to change that nomenclature. Update. Shall meet the following fire protection standards unless adequate fire suppression facilities are already available. Adequate fuel breaks and fuel reductions shall be maintained. New storage tanks, blah, blah, blah. Why don't we could say this. We could say rural residential development in those hazard areas shall be compliant with PRC 4290 and 4291. That's what all this stuff is, but there's more to it than that.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because that's better because high and extreme hazard areas, that has to be really clearly defined. If we don't do it with a law, you're referencing a legal definition, I presume.
Yeah, it's a title, an actual title in the CAL FIRE maps.
Okay.
I think it's hot. I forget. Severe. Yeah. Anyway, it's a thing. Well, I'll update that. Shall.
It would be nice to reference a website or a link that people can look up. What is that current code? So many of our things have 4-10. What does that mean?
Okay.
And, you know, is it possible to put a footnote
here.
with where to find that information?
Half a mile. Turn
Yeah,
left.
we'll add a link right there.
Great.
In fact, I'll specify that it's California,
Third of a mile. Turn slight right to I-5 north.
so people know it's state. All right. Access bridges to both urban and rural residential developments located in high and extreme. Ah! That was
There you
extreme.
go again.
Yep. Update that one. Fire hazard areas shall have adequate load capabilities and be wide enough to safely accommodate fully loaded fire safety equipment.
Turn slight
Yes,
right to
please.
I-5 north.
Boy, that really rings a bell with me. Shortly after I was elected, I got a call from the head of the Anderson Springs Homeowners Association. He wanted me to come out and look at this bridge, and he took me underneath the bridge, and he reached up with his hand and pulled out a big chunk of rotten, wood that was part of what was holding up the bridge. And he handed it to me, and he said, "Would you mind taking this to the Public Works Director and tell him that we need to have this bridge reinforced?" And I did. I
They've
took
done
it
a
in
lot
and-
of that identification and gotten a ton of grants for bridge repair.
Mhm.
So we've done a number of general plan conformity determinations for those bridges to the point where they don't have enough people to get the jobs done yet. So they're getting kind of stacked up. But yeah, that was a big deal.
I took it into Jerry Schall's office and set it on his desk. It said, "Here's a message from Anderson Springs."
Right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, let's keep that one. The adoption of fire safety guidelines provided by CAL FIRE will be considered in areas subject to high, I don't know.
Yeah, will be considered doesn't seem like very strong language.
Well, the adoption of, no, this is more like, what would be really cool would be to, the county shall support the establishment and maintenance of local fire safe councils, or, that sort of thing, because those are the ones that are pushing out and educating their residents to CAL FIRE regulations.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no, I'm not sure what the adoption of guidelines really does, nor I don't really know the point of this one. Why don't we say compliance with instead of the adoption? What is that?
There you go.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It does.
Fire safety guidelines. The shall is stronger. Okay. Compliance with fire safety guidelines provided by CAL FIRE shall be considered in areas subject to high and extreme. Of course, that doesn't really mean anything to me either.
No.
It sounds like it wants to be implementation.
They use that.
Shall be considered. And how about in development projects?
I just don't like the word considered because then it makes it seem like it's an option. That's a concern for me.
Well, yeah, but shall means it's not an option. It means you have to consider those CAL FIRE guidelines.
Implemented then. How about that? Compliance with fire
There you
safety
go.
guidelines provided by CAL FIRE shall be implemented in development projects in areas subject blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
There
now,
you go.
Those high and extreme, that continues to be
you
used
highlight-
over and over again.
It does. So
Right.
that apparently
Forward.
was the terminology back then. So we'll just update it to today's areas. I think it's high fire and severe high fire or something like that. I'll get the right words. Did you have something, Vince?
Yeah, how does that, and you may have already covered it, how does this high extreme impact insurance? Because they're
It
going to,
does. Yeah, the new FEMA maps. That's why the board was taking a stand on the new FEMA maps. No, the new CAL FIRE maps. I'll show them to you. These aren't the new ones yet. We just got a notice, that we're going to be doing it soon. Let's see what this is. All right, it's loading. And as soon as the new maps come in, I think now 98.8 or 99.8% of Lake County is going to be within high to severe. Get down. Ooh, GIS. It's still feeding.
oh my goodness.
Where's our lake? There we are. Yeah, it's like everything except the lake and the cities are red. So it's still floating. Gets
Wow.
worse. Hang in there. Gets worse.
It gets worse.
Yeah. I think it looks like actually the only thing that they're not coloring in is Mendocino or national land. There's BLM and Mendocino. So yeah, here's Lake County now. Red, and orange. The only stuff that's cities are like, yeah. Oh, I don't even know why Lake Pillsbury's yellow or Potter Valley. Huh. Cool. All right. So anyway, yeah, red. And it's, where's the key? That'll give us that new terminology. There, high and very high. And then, yeah, that gray is all federal outside the SRA. High and very high fire hazard severity zones. That's what.
So the new maps will be more severe or less?
More.
More.
Yeah, the new map will show less in the orange and yellow and more in the red. So most of this is going to go to red. So yeah,
Okay.
they
Thank
say, oh, the insurance industry is not allowed to use our maps in order to sort of decide what they're going to do, but they do. They develop their own maps that just happen to look exactly like the CAL FIRE maps.
Amazing.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so high and whatever. I'll fix that later. Okay.
Very high.
Objective. Yes, you're right. Thank you. Very high fire hazard. I'll fix it later.
Yeah, it's in the next one also.
Yep. Is it? Okay, so wait, we skipped one. The utilization of controlled burning programs should be supported in high and very high fire hazard severity.
Can I add to that? May I?
Yeah, of course.
So can we add control burning and grazing should be supported and encouraged in high and very high fire hazard areas as a component of fuel modification and and the rest of it.
Got a typo in grazing.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did. Thank you. I would also like to see tribes go here too.
Yes.
Ah,
Huh? Adding tribal burns.
How about collaborative work with tribal shall be encouraged for wildfire mitigation measures and activities in the Lower Lake area with the focus on eco restoration and sustainable wildfire management. Oh my word. Practices. How about something like that? Collaborative work with tribal organizations shall be encouraged for wildfire mitigation measures and activities in the Lower Lake area with a focus on eco restoration and sustainable wildfire management practices.
Good.
Okay.
And supported. Okay, on to flood.
Just want to make sure that I understand. When you use the word supported, you mean money. You mean financial support.
I mean, if we can find grants, let's get it done.
Right. Okay.
Because I still think that code enforcement's future for hazardous vegetation management is not just going to be two of my officers going out and tagging things. It's also going to include our grants program that we've been building the last couple of years, supporting, citizens, residents of getting their own stuff done. Like we need to be able to help with self-abatement. Because we can't afford, we just don't have the resources to do abating on 60,000 properties.
I know. Yeah.
So this
I
one
want
would
to talk
help.
to you more about that.
Better 60,000 parcels?
No, about grants
Ah, okay.
later.
Flood
another time.
hazards. Yeah. Well, when I first got here, that was one of the first things I wanted to do because planning and code enforcement have historically been very reliant on or dependent on the general fund. And so the only way we're going to get off of that, since we are not, our fees don't carry us, is to develop a grants program. So that's what we've been doing the last couple of years. We're also simultaneously looking at setting up a more efficient structure to have fines and citations and collect revenue that way. But that's not really, where we want to be. So I don't like it when you're fiscally reliant on fining people and, punitive measures. So that'll be an aspect of it, but we can't.
Primary source of money.
No. So it kind of conflicts with our overall goal to encourage residents to self-abate.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Flood hazards. Federal flood insurance maps in the Lower Lake community area should be updated when found to be necessary by localized flooding conditions. No, I do not like that at all because FEMA is doing its own maps. And why would we worsen it any faster than we need it to? Right?
I agree.
I vote to take this out. What do you guys think, Vince?
Yeah, I think I would remove it. Let them decide. They're already going to make their maps anyway.
Yep. Oh, no, can't take it out. Let's just cross it out. All right. Floodplain management practices shall be applied in all designated 100-year floodplains where land use plans and zoning allow other than low intensity uses. Yeah, that's good. We're going to keep doing that. The disposal of hazardous materials shall be prohibited in designated 100-year floodplains. Okay. Storage and impoundment should also be discouraged except under limited circumstances during the dry season or elevations not subject to flood damage. I'd be afraid to take that one out.
Yes.
That's pretty standard conditions and stuff we get from water resources and EH and ag. Modification of both the Gopsevic and Beverly decrees shall be supported to allow enlarging of the Clear Lake outlet channel for Clear Lake flood control purposes. Anybody know what this is?
I do.
Those are the water agreements on Cache Creek.
Oh,
Those are both court decrees from way back in the 50s or before. But I'll tell you what, that particular thing was a big issue when Forrest Brumfield first ran for supervisor, because what they wanted to do, the Corps of Engineers wanted to blow up the Grigsby Riffle. That's what that really says. That's the Grigsby Riffle is the outlet channel. It's a rock formation where Fiddler Creek comes into Cache Creek.
Well, that's how we established Zero Rumsey.
Right. And boy, was that a controversial issue, and it never happened.
Well, let's keep it in case somebody goes wacko again.
Yes.
All right. But it kind of makes it sound like it allows enlarging of the channel, which would be consistent with
when
blowing
you're
up.
talking about controlling flooding on Clear Lake.
Right. And a lot of things have changed since back then. You know, there is an agreement that didn't exist when this was made. That's the agreement I was talking about the last time, that where Yellow Flood Control and the County of Lake worked together on the management of the dam using the modern satellite forecasting of storms. You know, you open the floodgates early because you can see them coming a week ahead of time.
Yeah, totally. Does this need updating?
Since
I don't know. This is going to require some thought.
What, Vince?
I said it seems that I'm certainly unclear. I believe that I agree with Ed in what it says, but I'm unclear enough. If we're not sure, maybe it's something we should come back to at some point.
I really think this is going to require some serious thought and consideration, because it's not as simple as one sentence makes it sound.
Yeah.
And when do you think we should do this?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, how about
might take a little research.
Likely to be amended during public review.
Okay.
There. You can think about it in the back of your mind until May.
Right. And we might want to contact the Corps of Engineers and find out whether they have completely abandoned that or whether it's kind of, you know, just on hold, or what the status is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good idea. The natural features of Siegler Creek waterway should be protected for future development of creekway recreation facilities. Okay. Sounds good.
I'm not sure where that would happen, but
I'm not sure what the natural features includes either.
Yeah.
And or if there's been any development of creekway recreation facilities. What's a creekway recreation facility?
A swimming hole? I don't know.
Okay.
Hiking trails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Geologic and seismic hazards. Oh, let me mark keep. To lessen, objective 4.3, to lessen risks to life and property from earthquakes and other geologic hazards that may affect the lower lake area. That sounds pretty good. Policy, development should be avoided in landslide areas designated by the State Division of Mines and Geology, the United States Geological Survey, or other geological research. Okay.
Okay.
Any changes? Updated mapping of geological hazards in the lower lake planning area should be encouraged and supported.
Hasn't that been done?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. And of
That's
course,
what
it
means.
probably hasn't been because it says should instead of shall.
Right. Like it's impending. The County Planning Division should maintain a collection of all pertinent studies of geological hazards which are prepared by public agencies and private concerns that involve the Lower Lake area. Or private concerns.
Yes.
Do you have?
We don't have that. We have the USGS soil survey that tells us about like soils that are very expansive and therefore kind of more likely to erode. I don't know. Okay, well, let's keep it. Maybe we'll get one from private concerns. Anybody have anything on that one?
Nope.
We do have a GIS overlay that shows earthquake, like seismic faults. Air quality. Objective to protect residents of the Lower Lake area from poor or diminished air quality. It is also the county's objective to maintain air quality for the area's unique natural features and viewsheds. That last sentence just sounds a little foofy, but okay. Industrial and commercial activities that have the potential to emit toxic, hazardous, or nuisance air contaminants shall be located at safe distances and orientation from residential areas, schools, healthcare facilities, parks, and other sensitive receptors, and into areas which are most conducive to avoiding limited dispersion, direct transport of emitted materials.
What would be interesting is I've talked about that industrial area out on Clayton Creek, and I'm curious about the airflows through that area, making sure that they don't blow back towards downtown Lower Lake or, yeah.
Clayton Creek.
What, yeah.
I don't know what kind of study that is.
Yeah.
Huh. Because I know that we require like noise studies or soil studies or, our cultural studies. I've never thought about a study regarding airflow. I'll have to find out.
I know that they utilize it when they're determining burn days, the air quality management.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what kind of equipment they use to make that determination.
I don't know.
Right. Have to talk to the air quality department.
Right. But the rest of this sounds like implementation. Doesn't sound like a policy.
Right.
Except encouraging the development of alternatives and improvements to combustion of waste should be implemented. Woo, I love that one. Let's call that one out on its own doohickey because this one supports the biomass projects that are trying to get off the ground.
Yep.
Let's see. Come on. I need the extra line if you guys want to keep it. Where are you? Okay.
Yeah, this reminds me of back in the day when we banned smudge pots and burn barrels and
Right.
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Now we've got a biomass project, or a couple of them. We've got technology now that does not off gas, and so it's a great way to now start getting rid of our like
You mean you
fire
can
hazard
burn,
stuff.
you can burn biological material without making smoke?
Yep, it doesn't burn it. It gasifies it. Don't ask me what that means. I don't know, but we've got the specs, in a couple different projects, but it does not off gas. Or if it does, it's like at a part per gazillion or per billion, like way below anything.
Interesting.
Any limits? Yeah, I think it's definitely coming. And there's also now a state initiative kind of to sort of look for locations to institute these biomass things. And they're working in Lake County to do that. We've got a few some pretty strong NIMBY stuff going on because it's new technology. But I think that it's definitely going to be become a norm in Lake County.
Well, as long as it works, because, we're so proud of our clean air.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why this is a really good option. And we've got plenty of wood and, kindling that needs to get dealt with.
Down trees or trees that should be down.
Yes. Okay, are we done with that one? Air monitoring to determine existing air quality baseline should be conducted prior to major sources located. That doesn't make sense. Does that make sense to you? Prior to major sources located in the area. I think it's missing something.
Yeah.
It's missing a word, yeah.
New development near major sources? No.
Well, they're creating a baseline. So as these new things come into play, then you have something to compare what it was before to make sure that it's not contributing to the decline of air quality.
But that part about prior to major sources doesn't sound grammatically.
No, it's wrong. Yeah.
There's something missing.
Prior to
Major
development?
sources to be located.
I think it's
in the area.
I think what they mean to say is you're going to establish your air quality baselines prior to approving like a discretionary permit for something new.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Development or implementation of new sources?
All right. So prior to approval of development of new sources of air pollution located in the area. No, in the area.
That's clear.
Okay. Policy. In relationship to traffic circulation and land use, air pollution impacts shall be considered. Very good. Particulate control measures should be encouraged to limit the generation of additional air pollution. Sounds good. Anything else we're missing?
I don't think so.
Water quality. To protect water and aquifer quality and quantity in the Lower Lake area for the long-term benefit of area residents. That's the objective. Policy, local surface and groundwater supplies in areas where there is a high concentration of on-site wastewater disposal systems constructed prior to July 1st, 1985, should be periodically monitored. Such areas include, but not limited to, Copsey Creek Ranch and Twin Lakes subdivisions in the Lower Lake Planning area.
Okay. I'm a little confused by this because does something different happen if it was constructed after July 1, 1985?
I don't know. Is that like a technology shift?
I have no
Or maybe
idea.
a law shift?
Right.
And the other thing now is that Twin Lake subdivision is hooked up to the Lower Lake Water Company instead of all those wells.
Septic system.
It
But
could have
okay.
had to do with septic systems prior to 1985. There were some, I don't know about in this area, but there were redwood septic tanks that were prevalent in some areas.
Oh, okay.
Ugh. All right.
I don't know if that's the case here in Lake County, but there were some that I know of in the Sonoma County area. So it may have to do with that.
Yeah.
Boy.
Do we want to update this?
On site. wastewater disposal systems.
Yeah, septics.
Yeah, that's septic tanks. I mean, on-site wastewater. I mean, there's a few other. Remember, they used to have those mound systems when you couldn't get a perk test. You built a mound.
Yep.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I know. It's kind of strange, but that was going on for a while.
Great. How about if we just expand, instead of such areas should be periodically monitored? Like, what's the purpose?
Well, it's all about water quality because the septic, faulty systems leach into the water systems. Groundwater, aquifers.
Well, yeah, especially there was problems in areas like Copsey Creek and Twin Lakes because, you know, they had wells and septics right on the same parcel. And there was
Right.
hundreds of them. So they're basically disposing of their wastewater in their water table that they're pulling water out of to drink.
Terrifying
know.
as it is, it should probably remain.
But if Twin Lakes is on municipal water, then we could take them out, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I would just get rid of that whole sentence, such areas. Or, yeah.
Okay.
Periodically monitored in the Lower Lake planning area, or just leave it.
Periodically monitored.
Yeah, that's kind of a blanket. It covers everywhere.
Yep.
The Environmental Health Division should encourage voluntary testing of new domestic water supplies for the occurrence of elevated levels of heavy metal in the eastern portions of the Lower Lake Planning area, as approximately defined by Figure 7. Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The state should develop a comprehensive study. Okay, for one thing, we can't say the state should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
You don't
state
want to
should do a
boss
lot
around
of-
the state of California?
Yeah, right. Good luck with that. The state should develop a comprehensive study program to determine the role abandoned mining operations may have in deteriorated water quality in the Lower Lake area. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I don't think it's
Can you-
possible.
Yeah. Can the county, can the,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know that we can
I
either.
mean, the only mine in recent history in the Lower Lake area is the Homestake gold mine. And wasn't that kind of the remediation and all that stuff covered in their use permit? I mean, this sounds like it's really old,
Yeah.
Yep.
Get rid of it.
out of date.
Yep.
I thought there was a Superfund site there on some place on the lake on the,
There is.
There is. It's not in the Lower Lake study area, though. It's over there by the LM
Yeah.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Indian
Okay.
colony. It's over
Yeah.
Sulphur
Yeah, I
Bank
know.
Mine is what it is.
Right.
Sulfur.
Yeah.
It's a super fun.
All right. Applicable portions of Lower Lake area plan shall be amended if new information regarding poor water quality indicates the need for a greater role in protecting health and safety. No,
Can we make
we don't change the area
applicable
plan. We
capital?
we deal with that directly. Just supporting poor water, supporting, keeping water of good water quality is a policy, but I don't know. This one seems weird to me. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, do we need to amend the area plan every time there's information about poor water quality?
No, we deal with that.
Right,
Because
Yeah,
the area plan says we want good water quality.
right. So do
Right.
we need that? That's the
So,
question.
yeah, it's sort of redundant and unnecessary.
Right.
Okay.
And it shouldn't just be limited to the eastern portion. It should be all of it.
Right.
Exactly.
Why just the eastern portion?
Well, that's
Mhm.
where the highest mineral concentration is, but still it should be applicable to the whole area.
Sure.
Runoff into Anderson Marsh State Historic Park from upstream community development in Lower Lake should be directed east of State Route 53. To reduce sources of water pollution from entering Anderson Marsh. Okay. But, okay, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Whenever I missed the lesson in school that talks about doing east of something that runs north and south.
Uh-huh.
What is that? Like east of State Route 53 is where? Because State Route 53 goes across. So there's only a north and a south from my brain. So where's east of State Route 53?
Well, east is where the outflow of the lake goes. East is out
Right.
towards
Well,
Sacramento.
I think what they're referring to is a section of 53 that goes from Lower Lake to Highway 20.
I agree.
Does that start going north-south?
And that section
No.
from Lower Lake to Highway 20 is a north-south sector.
53 runs north and south, so east of it would be the Sacramento side or
Oh,
Yes.
it kind of does go this
Right.
way.
Morgan
huh?
Valley side.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. I'll quit whining. Okay, so that's east. That makes sense. Okay, I'm still whining about it in fire evacuation stuff when they say east of
Yes.
like 20th Street, which is the lake. That's the only
Yes.
thing east of 20th Street. Okay.
Right.
All right. Anyway, let's go back.
Yeah. There you go.
Carry on. Okay, do we keep it? I think that's supposed to be a policy.
Yeah.
Okay. Noise. The objective to protect the general population from unnecessary and harmful noise levels and provide extra protection for noise sensitive receptors. Very good. Noise generating uses adjacent to Anderson Marsh State Park, schools, cemeteries, nursing homes, resorts, and religious or educational retreats shall comply with Lake County's noise compatibility criteria for sensitive receptors. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really. Okay. Sometimes these things are like, well, yeah, because that's the law. So
Yeah.
are we only going to say implement that piece of the law? Like, what? Isn't it assumed that anyway? All right. Another policy: noise generating uses adjacent to Anderson Marsh State Historic Park. Then all those other lists of sensitive stuff shall comply with noise compatibility. Wait, isn't that the same thing? I think that's identical.
Yeah, it was in there twice, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's
It was
another one of those.
it was in there
duplicates.
twice. And 4.62 should say new multifamily resident developments. So when it
Okay.
was the copy and pasted,
That's my bad.
yeah, it pasted it twice.
I'm muted. That's weird. Okay. Yeah. Let me go pull that up, the right one. One moment. I'll just get that fixed right now. Okay, so what is it supposed to say? Where am I going? Lower Lake.
4.62.
4.62. Thank you. Where that is. Ah, close. Good. New family residential development. Okay.
Right.
Good catch, Marty.
Yeah, huh? Thanks, Marty.
Yep.
Okay. Now let's take a look at that one. New multifamily residential development within the 55 dBA contour on state routes 29 and 53 shall be subject to acoustical analysis and construction techniques. Oh no. Required by development review and meeting general plan noise standards. Okay, so the problem with this one is that the state and local jurisdictions, in order to encourage housing development, are seeking ways to make multifamily residential development ministerial, in which case putting this requirement is actually a government obstacle to housing development. So this one's going to be a problem when we're updating our housing element. Only because it's giving us a shall, and it's an analysis. So that means I have to require a study. And I have to do development review, which I'd rather not do. What I'd like to see.
Yeah, is it a way to soften the verbiage so it doesn't cause that conflict?
Can you just reference the?
Yep. Exactly.
I'd like to flip it around and say, the noise element of the general plan shall take into consideration traffic noise pollution in this particular area, so not to have negative impacts on multifamily residential development, because it's actually the impact on the housing, not the housing's impact on the everything else.
Right.
They're talking about traffic noise pollution.
Okay.
Yep.
No. She's updating.
Revising.
Revising.
They didn't consider that close, but the hotels or the low-income apartments in for residents. Say there's no fun.
Yeah.
There. Okay. The general plan noise element shall consider noise pollution created by state routes 29 and 53 in order to avoid negative traffic noise impacts on local sensitive receptors and residential development.
Perfect.
Great.
Good work. Well, I'm glad that you can write that bureaucratic stuff.
Yeah, right? I get a lot of practice.
I know.
Like a muscle, you exercise it. Community development, land use. Oh, looks like I couldn't do anything else. Let's see what I missed here. Our objective that we're keeping is orderly growth and development shall be encouraged within the Lower Lake area by focusing higher intensity development within the community of Lower Lake. Low intensity land use patterns are encouraged in the remainder of the planning area. That's a very good objective. Let's see.
That's good.
Let's see what I missed. Looking.
A lot. Oh.
Well, I missed a lot of text. It looks like I have 0 policies in land use.
No,
That's
they are.
bizarre.
They're farther down though.
Are they into the appendix? Oh, okay. Sheesh, got a lot of stuff in here.
Lower Lake Land Use Plan should recognize.
No, you're right. Look at all. Oh, my word. Oh, goodness. Oh, geez. All right, got another half an hour. Let's put this over here. No, let's put this back over here so you can see it. And I'll pull the Word doc over here so that I can fix it, but you can see it. Okay. So 5.1A. Dear. Okay. Well, we'll just keep going with the time we got. 5.1A1. The Lower Lake Land Use Plan should recognize existing development patterns and logically provide for future development in the area. Well, seriously, that's another one of the, really? Do we need to say that? Isn't that kind of the whole point of doing the plan?
Right. It's stating the obvious.
It totally is. All right. Well, it's a good idea. Let's leave it in, I guess. Okay. Hold on. I'm making extra lines in the table. Okay. 5.A2. The focus of new development in the planning area should be within the community of Lower Lake. Oh, wait. We already did that one.
Yeah.
And
It's redundant, but it's important to have it under land use.
but it is under land use as an objective. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's a little different. The focus of new development in the planning area should be within the community of Lower Lake and contiguous to existing development and available public services. That's great.
Yes.
Good idea. All right, we'll keep that one.
Okay.
5.A3, retail commercial development should be focused in central locations with good street access, heavy commercial and light. This is basically telling you best management practices for land use.
Pretty much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
However, sometimes, we forget our history lessons. And so I think the intent was to remind people what we.
Well, it just, sometimes you wonder about bizarre laws and what circumstances made them required, like made people do laws like don't walk your giraffe down Main Street in Maine.
Right.
It makes me wonder, like, what kind of Rambo planning division people did we have back then?
Oh, if only you knew.
I know.
That's right.
huh?
That's right. There were phases where there was some interesting
Yeah.
staff people.
All right. All right. Large lots and reduced residential density should be encouraged in the outlying areas. Yeah, let's keep it just in case, when the board fires me and somebody comes in that's like from
Exactly.
Texas and doesn't like zoning laws. All right. Areas located adjacent to Lower Lakes Community Development Area shall be maintained in parcels of sufficient size to accommodate urban development beyond the 20-year life of this plan. Wait, I got lost. Areas located adjacent to Lower Lakes Community Development Area. Is that like the main part of Lower Lake that they said before?
Yeah, the outlying areas,
Okay.
Morgan Valley, but Bonham Road,
Like area
we
plan?
looked at some of those.
Areas adjacent to the community development area shall be maintained in parcels of sufficient size to accommodate urban development beyond the 24. Well, but no, because actually this one is weird only because our community growth boundary amendments are to tell is the community's voice saying this is where we want to grow during our plan. So urban development, though, is smaller parcel sizes,
Right.
but adjacent to the community development area outside your community growth boundary is fine to have larger sizes. So I'm not really sure what this one is trying to say. Does anybody know? Maybe I'm misreading it.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, it seems unclear to me.
Yeah, you guys too? Okay. And I'll put it in here just so we can discard it. It's weird.
Yeah.
I would think that you'd want to maintain the parcel sizes outside your community growth boundary in ever enlarging minimum parcel sizes as you're going towards more rural areas to minimize conflicts with the rural areas that can have like prime ag with your residential or commercial areas.
Right.
Okay. Objective. All right. Actually, I really have to go to the bathroom. Okay, objective. Let's keep going. Objective 5.1B. Objective. Okay. Ample land uses shall be designated to accommodate projected growth rates in Lower Lake area for the next 20 years. Yes, the land use plan map shall designate sufficient lands to accommodate a balance between various land use categories. Yes, this is what we're doing.
Yes, but that's the objective of this.
Okay, it's a great objective since that's what we're doing.
Right.
We'll keep it. Policies. A high priority should be given to providing service and employment opportunities locally in the Lower Lake area in order to boost economic development and reduce travel distance. That is awesome. Let's do it. Any change?
Nope.
Nope. Look, it just did it again. It's not copying. Gosh.
So if you do Control C and then Control V.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Oh, there it goes. Now it decided to work. Thank you.
Sorry.
All right. Let's keep it. Population projections and changes in the Lower Lake area should be reviewed and assessed every 5 to 10 years. A report on Lower Lake's population change shall be prepared by the Planning Division in 1992.
I think we need to fix that.
You think we need to update that?
I think that one needs some tweaking. Yes. All right.
Reviewed and assessed every 5 to 10 years, huh? Well, look, the census takes place every 10 years.
The census takes care of
it
that.
Does. And actually, the housing element takes that into account as well, using census data, and that's every 6 years.
Can we just remove it?
Sure.
Do we need it?
No, you can make whatever recommendation you want. You are LAPAC. You have power.
Well, but
All
there
right.
has to be some kind of element to remind people that that information needs to be reviewed.
How about population projections and changes in the Lower Lake area should be reviewed and assessed to inform the housing element updates?
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yes.
To
Fine.
be reviewed to inform the housing element update cycle.
Or needs.
And do you want a report?
Not necessarily.
It'll be in the housing element. Not specific
Right.
to Lower Lake necessarily, but
But you
Okay.
still have the data.
yeah, we'll still have the data. All right. 5.13. A system should be developed to monitor building permit data for the county's planning areas, including Lower Lake.
See, this is before computers. We have all your building permits are now monitored by your computer system, right?
Yeah, and in fact, we are finalizing our preparation of our new OpenGov system, and it's going to be awesome because it's going to have a public-facing portal. So if you're wondering what the heck's going on your neighbor's property, you can go on the GIS and click on the parcel, and it'll show you what permits are going on.
Okay. That's exciting.
Lovely.
Yeah, I mean, if that's not a system to monitor building permits, I don't know what is.
So going back to God forbid the day you're no longer with us, but a system should be, how about shall be?
Well, we've already
Shall
done it.
be.
It's done it. That's been accomplished.
Yeah.
I understand. A system shall
Shall be
used to
maintained.
monitor.
A system
There you
shall
go.
be maintained.
There you go.
Okay.
That works.
Let's make sure we don't just throw it away.
That's right.
All right. Objective 5.1C. A mixed land use pattern will be encouraged within the community of Lower Lake, which promotes the orderly and efficient development of the community. Okay. All right. It's a good one.
That's our
It's the
objective.
point of why we're doing all this work.
Yep.
You know, on that, I printed out the document that you emailed to me,
Yeah.
and I've got it right here. I've been going along, and there is no 5.1C on it's gone.
No, because I'm using that exact same document that I sent you, and I just totally missed 5.1Cs and all of them. I missed all of 5.1. So that's my bad. That's why we're
Okay. Because I've got the 1A and B, but no C.
Right.
yeah, that was my fault. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. 5.1C1. Land use planning decisions should encourage the efficient and cost-effective development of public services in the planning area.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sounds good. Let's keep it. New residential development around the community of Lower Lake should be directed to areas where water and sewer services are available rather than by past land use patterns if key services are not readily available.
Can we just end it at are available, period, and get rid of that rather than?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Are available. Whoop. Stop it. Ah. No. Go back. Are available. Good. Next, new development shall be encouraged within the continuing and existing development and services. New development shall be encouraged within or contiguous to existing development and services in the Lower Lake community area. Makes good sense. Let's keep it.
Yep.
Okay.
The land use plan, designates a community development area boundary line. Okay, this can be updated to be a community growth boundary. This line is intended to define the area where development services, including water or sewer, may be provided during the next 20 years. This line shall be defined in a manner similar to LAFCO's sphere of influence definition. The community development boundary line should be reevaluated at least every 10 years or as necessary through the life of the plan. I love this. Let's keep this. Anybody want to change it?
Nope.
No, it's fine. I just want to note that since this was written, LAFCO has undergone a number of changes, and we may just want to take a fresh look at their current sphere of influence definition. I imagine it's different than when this was originally written, way back when.
All right, so let's check the updated definition to see if this sentence remains.
Well, the reason I'm saying, I'm not trying to be picky, but, LAFCO was completely rewritten in the year 2000.
Okay, I think it's a great idea.
I mean, I've been involved in LAFCO, and that's why I'm saying this.
Yeah.
There was a law passed called CKH, the Cortese-Hirschberg Local Government Reformation Act of 2000. And in that, it changed LAFCO. It made it an independent agency, and it changed a whole bunch of things. Anyway, yeah, just check on it.
All right, got it. I'm just changing it to community growth boundary too, so the terminology is current. Mm-hmm. All right. 4, 5. Infill development shall be encouraged within Lower Lakes community development area. We're going to change that to community growth boundary. But it is a standard planning best management practice.
Yes.
Boundary. Because nobody likes sprawl.
No.
Ooh, on sprawl.
All right. Next objective. Oh, get that thingy out of there. Land use patterns within the Lower Lake area shall promote the maintenance and preservation of the area's natural resources. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's a nice general.
Wait a minute, I missed that.
Sounds like we want to maintain and preserve our natural resources. Let's do it. Policies. This one doesn't have a number. I guess it's 5.11. Resource conservation purposes shall be provided special protections through such tools as zoning, public purchase, conservation or open space easements, or other applicable legal instruments. That's cool. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
P.1.D-1. Resource conservation purposes shall be provided special protection. Resource conservation. What's a resource conservation purpose?
Resource conservation.
Yeah, the word purpose is interesting in that sentence.
How about
Practices?
conservation of resources? Or resource conservation. Just take purposes out.
Yeah, I would do that.
Okay, that
Okay.
sounds good.
Change. Pretty cool. All right. Proposals to amend the Lower Lake area land use map that increase the acreage of rural residential designated land shall be evaluated by the following means. Adequate water. You can put a septic in. Won't negatively affect ag operations. Wait. Okay. Resources, supply of existing vacant rural residential lots. I don't like the fifth one though. I like the okay. See, so the fifth one says the supply of existing vacant rural residential lots is insufficient to accommodate projected growth, or the proposal provides a logical buffer between suburban densities and ag or more remote rural land uses. That second part is good, but the determination of sufficient or insufficient is difficult to quantify actually, because
It's vague.
I'm not sure what study determines it. But the rest of it, I mean, is fine. It
Yeah.
just gives us things to consider when we're doing a rezone or general plan amendment.
Do you want to take out the offensive
Yeah,
part of the
if-
first?
If you are okay with that, I'll take out the supply of existing rural residential lots is insufficient to accommodate projected growth, and just start with the proposal provides a logical buffer.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Change. Okay. Circulation. Okay, let's do a quick time check because it's 11:15. Save my document. Is this our last virtual? Let's see, where are we? Lower Lake. This is our last virtual. So,
I'm good till noon.
I've got Upper Lake at noon.
Oh,
Let me see what else I got. Just a second. Look at my calendar. Today, I've got Upper Lake at noon. I need to start at like 10 minutes early, but we can just keep going. And then
we're getting close to the end.
we're getting very close. Yeah. I'm just trying to see if there's any more time. PC is going to go short because all I have is a cannabis ordinance task force update for them. So I might be able to squeeze in something at like 11:30 if we need to. Otherwise, well, let's just see how we go. All right. But if it's okay, I'd like to take like a 5-minute break so I can run around the corner.
Sure.
Yep.
Is that okay?
All right.
All right.
I'll do this. I think
right
I'll
back.
do the same.
Thank you.
Guys done
Well, for a moment.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Marty, can you hear me?
Okay, back at it. Where are we? Let's see. Word doc. Okay. Circulation objective. Adequate public access for motor vehicles. Oh, wait, are we all back? Vince, are you back?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. Thank you for that break. Much better. Adequate public access for motor vehicles, bicycles, pedestrians, and to public waterways shall be, okay, we'll take the and out, shall be encouraged for the orderly growth and development of the Lower Lake area. Access for adequate public access for motor vehicles, bicycles, pedestrians to public waterways. Oh, okay. That sounds, bicycles? Really?
Yes.
Okay. We
Horses
need to
too.
bike
We need horses too.
horses.
I was kidding, but
Oh, you are.
Actually, that's what
Okay,
they do that
right.
in Middletown.
I
We have been
know.
hanging out, but I don't know
We
y'all
do
all that
need
well.
equestrian trails.
Okay, let's make it grammatically correct then. Adequate public access for motor vehicles, equestrians, bicycles, and pedestrians.
There you go.
Why don't we just say multimodal public access? Can we do that? Or do we need to spell it out?
I kind of like the spelling it out because depending on who's in charge.
I would spell it out.
Okay, so are we leaving anything out then? Motor vehicles, equestrians, bicycles, and pedestrians. It's almost poetic, huh? To public waterways shall be encouraged for the orderly growth and development of the Lower Lake area. That's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So we may want to, since we just added equestrians, just keep that in mind in case we need to add a policy that addresses that.
Yep.
5.21, street and highway circulation improvements and priorities in the community of Lower Lake shall be consistent with the Lower Lake circulation plan. Do we have a Lower Lake circulation plan?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I thought
Never
there
seen
was, but
All right.
It says there's a figure 16. Maybe there's a.
We're going to have a circulation element. So I'll check and see if there's still a Lower Lake circulation plan,
Yeah, they may.
which I've
need
never
an element.
seen.
Yeah.
We may need to update this to just reflect the circulation element.
Right.
Put a question mark by that guy. Okay. 2, construction of State Route 2953 bypass should be constructed. Oh, seriously? I think this one can go. Because we've already done that. Now it's a roundabout, right?
No.
Oh, no, 29 and 53.
29
no, you're
and
right.
53.
I was thinking 53 and 20. Are we doing a bypass?
Well, the Highway 53 that we experience today is the bypass, because old Highway 53, remember it went down there by Mendo Mill, and
Yeah, it cuts right through a neighborhood now.
yeah, I mean that's the old highway.
Right.
What we're driving on is the bypass. That was done many
So
moons
shall
ago.
we discard it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, new collector streets within the community of Lower Lake shall be designed to minimize direct residential and other local assets or access in an effort to reduce traffic friction along collector street alignments. Common easements and driveways shall be required for land divisions fronting new collector streets. Use of non-access strips and frontage streets shall be considered for subdivisions when new collector streets are required.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's probably already in our subdivision ordinance, but sounds good.
It's still a good
it's
idea to
have it
remind
there.
people.
Yeah. Collector streets shall be constructed in accordance with adopted county standards and regulations. The county shall plan and prepare such alignments based on the Lower Lake circulation map and proceed with the acquisition of right-of-way as needed, blah, blah, blah. Sounds good, right? Keep it.
Sure.
We like it. It cites, I think, article or chapter 5 set articles or section 17, which is the subdivision code anyway. So,
Right.
all right. I need to do this in 2 pieces because sometimes the copy and paste is a little wonky on these guys. Taking it from PDF to, I want that part. Okay. So we'll keep it as is then, or did you want to do any changes?
Sounds to make sense, I think.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think you're right. Except I'm noticing that sometimes the county is capitalized and sometimes it is not. And I think we're going to check that. Yeah. Because when it's referring to county government, both, it should be capitalized rather than just talking about Lake County. Okay. Objective. Next objective. Improve parking and bicycle facilities in the community of Lower Lake and provide periodic updating of circulation plans during the 20-year planning period.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think that the updating has ever really been followed through on, has it?
No, because the circulation element is part of the general plan countywide stuff, and that's 20 years.
Right.
So you can say it, but I don't think we're going to do it. Sorry.
All right.
I probably would have rephrased that if it was the board telling. Should we say if needed? Because maybe we will. Maybe it'll, but it'd have to take something pretty significant.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, let's add if needed.
Sure. Won't hurt.
All right. That was the objective. Policy 1, the preparation of a downtown parking plan shall be viewed as a key element to downtown Lower Lakes economic development strategy. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to have a downtown
What-
Lower Lake economic development strategy, but that sounds like a pertinent part.
Yes.
Class 2 bicycle facilities shall be encouraged on new collector and arterial streets within the Lower Lake community development area, by which we mean the community growth boundary area.
And what does class 2 bicycle facilities mean?
Well,
Are there
that's a
different
very good
classes, and
question.
what's the difference?
Yes, there are.
I don't mean to be picky, but I don't have a
Well,
clue
you
as
should
to
know
what
what it
that
means.
really means.
Yeah, class 2 bike lanes.
There you go.
Oh,
So class
look
1
at
is you
that.
have a whole separate area and it's separated from the road by a delineator or a median. Class 2, portion of the roadway that is striped for one-way bike travel. Oh, that's interesting. So you have a bike lane within the road.
Whoa.
Yeah. See how the bikers and people are
Yeah.
separated from the road? Now this one that looks very hazardous. I don't think
I
I'd
was
like
thinking
that.
the same.
That doesn't
Man.
look
Well,
better
when the
off to
cars
have the
change
bike.
lane, they're going to be right in the bike lane.
Class 3 bike routes still shared with pedestrian and motor traffic, but you got class 4 separated bikeway. So that's our bike lane. I see that one most often.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have had requests in Cobb for actually developing a class 1. So
Wow.
separated bike path.
Wow.
Yeah, which I think is ideal to keep the bikers away, keep the cyclists away from motor vehicle traffic. But you don't see it very often unless it's like a planned community and it's established right away, because otherwise you got to widen your roads.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah,
need a bigger
yeah.
easement.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
All right, so
I-
class 2 shall be encouraged on new collector and arterial streets within the lower
you
lake.
change that to class 4? Does that
Class
sound?
4. Yeah.
Well,
However
that's
you want to
that's
change
what
it.
we usually see around here.
Class 4. Are we good with class 4? We'll change it.
I just feel weird about that class 2. I didn't have any idea there was even such a thing in existence.
Yeah, I didn't either, and it doesn't make much sense.
But some of that has changed since this was first done. So maybe back then, a class 2 was more of what we have in mind now.
Yeah. Or maybe back then it just made good sense with the way things were going.
Well, I bet you're right, though. Yeah, that would explain it.
All right. Class 4 sounds good. Next, the lower lake area circulation policies will be evaluated as necessary. Well,
Wow.
I think we
That's,
kind of cover that as periodic updating of circulation plans if needed.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think we need this one? I think this is unnecessarily redundant, but
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Discard.
Right.
Chapter 5, Section 17 of the Lake County Code, which establishes plan lines for highway setback, shall be reviewed and amended as needed. Okay. That's not, yeah, that would be Public Works, Roads
Mhm.
Division,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but makes good sense. Next objective, complete mitigation shall be required for inter-county regional transportation facilities, including high voltage electric transmission lines, which do not serve the local population and provide little or no term benefit. Complete mitigation. What?
Yeah. What is?
Complete mitigation.
I mean, mitigation is mitigation.
Yeah,
Is there
but
such a
we
thing
want to
as
say what we're mitigating for. So, like mitigation to lower impacts on county residents shall be required, because they're talking about impacts for regional stuff like the electrical lines or the energy or water pipelines. So this is all within the utility easement,
Right.
but they're just saying power, energy, and all that stuff that doesn't benefit us should not negatively impact us.
But think about the line that goes through Hofbacker that goes from the sewer plant in Clear Lake to the geysers.
Yeah, but
It
that's not the
impacts
same
us
thing.
because, but it doesn't service us.
Okay.
Just the
Yeah.
term complete mitigation is
Yeah.
confusing, I think.
Well, it's also relative. What is complete? What does that mean? How about we just say mitigation shall be required for all that
Yes.
stuff to minimize impacts on the local population?
Perfect.
Yeah, that sounds
And
good.
take
I
off
like it.
the which provide little or no term. Take that off. Let's just start with, okay, hold on, let me fix it. Mitigation shall be required for inter-county, yep, high voltage, yep, energy, yep, take off the which provide little or no long-term benefit, that's implied.
Right.
And fix that last part. Okay, mitigation shall be required, okay, to minimize impacts on the local population. Okay, so mitigations shall be required for inter-county regional transportation facilities, including high voltage electrical transmission lines and energy or water pipelines to minimize negative impacts, that's a CEQA term, on the local population. Good.
Great. Yeah.
So
All
would
right.
that cover, for instance, that line that goes the reclamation water from the sewer plant to the geysers?
Well, you could say water or wastewater pipelines.
There you go. That's what I'm wondering. Thank you, Ed, for clarifying my thoughts.
Well, I would also regional transportation facilities. Well, I would actually change transportation to utility.
Yes.
Regional utility facilities.
There you go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that includes then electrical transmission lines, energy or water pipelines,
Wastewater.
water, energy, water, or wastewater pipelines. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
All right. So then the policies, inter-county regional. A moment. I just got word text. Okay. Now. Oh wait, yeah, I do need lunch. One moment. If we're taking this all the way to my next one, I'm not going to have time to get lunch. So yes, please. A sandwich.
If you need the time, I'm willing to come back another time if you can find us.
Yeah, let's
maybe
finish this section up and then we'll look for another time. But it's
Great.
still going to run me
Yeah.
close to my noon meeting with gluten-free bread and
I'm okay with taking a different time as well.
thank you. All right, there. Michelle's really nice, our principal planner. She's going to get a sandwich, so she was just checking on me. I agree. It's really nice to have a supportive staff.
You have a good staff, and I'm happy
Yes.
for you.
It is an awesome team. I am very fortunate. Okay, policies. 1, inter-county regional transmission or transportation facilities shall not significantly impact any area identified as a unique critical resource area as defined by policy 3.71. Do we have a 3.71? My
I don't
word,
know.
that's a lot of policies.
I'm going to look.
Maybe they meant 3.7.1. All right, let's go. Wait, no, I'll just go scrolling up.
3.71. Yeah, there's a 3.71. The following sites shall be considered critical resource and conservation areas which require special protection to ensure that environmental damage does not occur.
Is that 3.7.1 or 3.71?
3.71 on the document that
Yeah.
you emailed out.
Okay,
Yeah, there's a 72, 73, 74, 75. Then it goes to
I wonder we're
3.8.
still doing this.
So it should be it goes from 3.75 to 3.8. but then 8 goes to 8182. So they didn't use an extra decimal point back then. I don't know why. But
All right, so I will just highlight this to just make sure we update it with whatever numbering system we do later.
yeah.
All right, Turkey it is. That sounds great. Intercounty regional transmission or transportation facilities. Transmission or transportation facilities. We changed transportation to utility. So we'll do that here for consistency.
Okay.
Intercounty regional transmission or utility facilities shall not significantly impact any area identified as a unique critical resource area as defined by. Okay. Keep.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
And you're going to need to change that again on the next one, transportation to utility.
Yep. All right. Intercounty regional transmission or transportation. Okay. I will do that. So don't mess with our parks. Got it. Got it. Intercounty regional transmission and pipeline facilities, which are determined by the county to provide little or no long-term benefit to the local affected areas. Oh dear. Okay. So there was a lot of concern about these back then, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. That
I don't think they're really going in anymore.
That sounds redundant. It's almost the same thing as 2C1. I wonder what they were worried about.
Sounds like they were preparing for the full circle project.
Oh, that could be.
And the geysers were booming back then, so it may have something to do with them as well.
Oh, true. Yep.
I don't know that we have anything coming like that. To me, this totally sounds like a preparation for making sure that people didn't get harmed due to the full circle project.
Well, and back then we were talking about drilling through St. Helena and, you know.
Well, I think we should still keep it because we're talking now about additional like smaller footprint geothermal facilities as well as wind. Like there's a lot of sustainable energy interest here.
Yes.
So I vote we keep this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Ookie dookie. Public services. Objective. Balanced development shall be encouraged, which coordinates improvements in public service capabilities to maximize community and economic development within Lower Lake. That's lovely. I vote we keep that. What do you guys think? Does it need change?
Yes, yes. No,
No change, just keep as is?
keep it as it is.
Okay.
Yes. Keep.
Intergovernmental consultation among the county, the city of Clear Lake, and local special districts will be coordinated regarding the planning of public service improvements in the Lower Lake community area. We really need to add tribes in there.
Wow. That's cool that was put in there.
Yeah,
Well, and it's an
Oh,
ongoing
yeah.
mission.
Sure.
I would also add tribal governments.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So let's say city of Clear Lake, comma, local special districts, comma, and tribal governments.
Local tribal governments.
Yep,
Yeah. The one,
good. Will be
the tribes
coordinated.
within the Lower Lake planning area. That's what it means. We don't have to say all that.
And yeah, by saying local. Yeah. And actually you want to go no more specific than local because state law says that if you're that your tribe can request information or request consultation if they just asked you. So local kind of means the ones who have established an appropriate an interest in the area. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Water and sewer. The Lower Lake County Water Works District shall be the sole public purveyor of water within the Lower Lake Community Development Area as defined on the land use map. Okay. Do we still like that one?
There's no other, I don't know, there isn't any other possible purveyor.
Yeah, this is saying that no other municipal
private?
water districts will be established. Pretty much.
They're private, or does this exclude private?
This would exclude private within community growth boundary.
Yeah, it says the sole public purveyor.
Okay. Because
Well, no, it doesn't exclude private. It just says public purveyor. So you could still have a private water district.
okay.
And let's make defined just a regular old word, not hyphenated. All right. The development and provision of water and sewer. I've got 5 more minutes. The development and provision of water and sewer services in Lower Lake shall be closely coordinated within the Lower Lake Community Development Area. Special District's Office in the Lower Lake County Water Work District shall coordinate extending sewer and water facilities in the community. Love it. Let's keep it. But update the terminology to reflect community growth boundary.
Right.
Yes.
Community growth boundary.
Lower Lake Water's done a lot of improvements to their facilities since this thing was written.
That's wonderful.
They used to have leaky tanks and all kinds of problems. They've developed new wells and got new tanks. And anyway,
That's awesome. That really benefits the ratepayers to be doing the update, because I remember the board agonizing over deferred maintenance stuff.
Well, that's the thing. They, for a long time, their board didn't do anything to improve anything. They didn't want to raise the rates, and they got themselves in a real bind at one point, and they had to do a big rate increase. So then they made up their minds. Okay, we're gonna maintain our facilities so we never have to do that again.
Totally, that's really smart, even though it's painful.
Well, it's better to raise it a nickel every year than have to raise it $1 every, all at once.
Yeah. In reviewing projects of governmental agencies, including water or sewer services, for general plan consistency pursuant to some random GC section that we'll keep, proposed projects will be evaluated to ensure the following: that it is designed to serve development at the density, at the densities or intensities and locations depicted on the land use map, and the project substantially complies with other applicable general plan goals, objectives, and policies. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Sure.
I would just verify that GC S65402 is
absolutely. I'm
still
highlighting
relevant.
that one to double check. Very good. Double check citation. Good. All right. 5.32E, groundwater usage of all water service agencies shall be monitored to prevent long-term degradation and depletion of the Lower Lake area groundwater basins.
Good.
Who's going to do that monitoring?
Oh, not me. That would be, I have no idea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They.
Who
I love it when people say they need to
does this?
say.
I mean,
So we want to make sure that
another way to say it is, who are we telling that they're going to have to spend money on a monitoring program?
Right.
Well, one would hope one is already in place. So who does this? In implementation, identify the responsible agency department / water resources.
Great.
Okay. Last one for this section. In case it is determined that construction of a community water system is needed in the Twin Lakes subdivision, a feasibility study should be conducted to determine the most cost-effective system.
Well, that can be taken out because Lower Lake County Water has already constructed water in Twin Lakes.
Excellent. Discard. Save. All right. So we're now at the end of our time, and we are at the start of on-site wastewater management. Let's see. Let's take a look at the calendar and see. And let's actually just scroll through and see what else we've got. Because there's 98 pages. Oh, that's just not loading. There aren't that many blanks. Hold on. Table 8. Land use and zoning plan, part 3, land use and zoning plan. We're just scrolling through to see if we have any other objectives, policies. This is our land use, okay.
I think that was about it.
This is our implementations.
5.59.
Programs. This is the this is where this is the rubber hits the road stuff, but it's not very well fleshed out. Like it in later things you'll see, okay, footnotes and appendices. Like here, economic development, pursue grants for Lower Lake. I think what we're going to do is finish our policies and objectives, and then during the it would be helpful if we actually had your input on this too. Okay, let's take a look at the calendar. Because I think we can finish. I think if we had another session, we could probably finish the objectives and policies. And then if you've already looked at the implementation, that's going to be pretty quick to go through as far as keeping or discarding. See my calendar.
I'm going to go get my calendar while you're looking.
All right. Sounds good. Oh, get back here. Over here. Over here. If prep time, that's it. I could do it this afternoon. I've got this afternoon from about 3:30 till about 5. And then Thursday or Friday. Vince,
Thursday.
What does your calendar look like?
Thursday sounds great to me.
Okay, it would be later because I want to give PC 2 hours, because whenever I think we don't have anything to talk about, it takes 2 hours. So let's say like 11:30 to 1. Does that give me enough time?
Thursday
Cobb
the
is in
14th.
person. It gives me an hour. Yeah, Thursday the 14th from 11:30 to 1 looks good. Because that'll give me enough time. After that, I have to run because I've got in person in Cobb that at an hour later. Okay.
Okay, works for me.
Okay. And it will be dependent on PC getting out too. So I'll send an email if it doesn't look like PC is going to be done by 11:15.
We're talking Thursday the 17th.
Thursday the 14th.
Thursday
You're in the wrong month.
That's what I meant. At what time?
Thursday the 14th, 11:30.
11:30.
That work for everybody?
Works for me.
Okay.
Me
So
too.
Maria, you would be sending out an email roughly around 11 something
Yep.
in case it didn't work.
Yep. 11:15. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay. I'll reserve that time.
Okie dokie. Thank you. then I will let Ruby know. She's not in today, but she can send out a, she'll need to send, I'll just do the meeting link and send it out.
Can you remind me the objective that we ended on, what number that was?
We are on. Where are we? I didn't just close it out, did I? I might have just closed it out. But I wrote the note on the thingy. Or thingy. We stopped at on-site wastewater management. 5.3 something. 3.3 it looks like. So if you could look at the rest of them and be ready, and then implementation charts and be ready, we'll just keep going.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And,
All right.
and by the way, just so we don't forget, that discussion about the Grigsby Riffle and the Bemerley Decree and all that stuff, I thought of it. I actually, while we were sitting here, I thought of a bunch more stuff that was involved in that, because even though we're going to check with the Corps of Engineers to see if they've still got that on their list of things to do or not, we also have created since this document was back in the 90s, I guess, we have an agreement with Yolo County Flood Control that we participate with them in sharing the cost of dredging out the sandbar that builds up at the riffle, because that actually acts as a dam also. So by taking out the sandbar, it lowers the level down to the top of the rocky formation called the riffle. So it all ties together in this discussion. I don't want to go into it a long time now, but I just want to make sure I'm involved in that discussion because I know all the details.
No, and it may be a good idea to include that part in that area about the removal of the sandbar, especially at that bridge at Lake Street and Dam Road
Right.
Extension.
Right. We used to have, we would have Epidendio come down there, dig it out. And I remember standing on the bridge with the guy from Yolo County looking at it and pointing at it and negotiating this thing. So anyway, all I'm saying is that kind of takes care of the problem. Anyway, we can talk about it later.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that you're involved when we get the draft back, just to make sure that it's updated if necessary.
Right.
Yeah, that
Okay.
would be great. Yeah.
I got the Outlook invite that I'm about to send out with the meeting link. Good. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank
See you
you.
next time.
Bye-bye.
See you Thursday.